Jonathan with Iron Mind Hypnosis here. And I want to talk with you about how emotions, physical sensations, are like cats. Now, I don't know if you're a cat person, or maybe you prefer different pets, or maybe no pets at all. Maybe you're a plant person. But you've probably met a cat. And cats can be like our bodies in some certain ways. Now, our emotions. Our emotions have messages for us. It's like when a cat comes up to you and it's meowing at you, or it's making whatever noise it's making, and it's trying to communicate something to you. It really wants you to know something. Now, as a human being, not sharing much of language with a cat, it can be a little bit confusing. Hey, kitty, are you hungry? Well, yes, you're hungry, but that's not what it is. Okay, you'll eat, but you still want something. Do you want pets? Do you need to be petted? Well, you like petting, but that's not it either. Uh, what's left? Uh, where do you want to go? We've tried petting, we've tried food. Oh, you want to go outside? Oh, all right, problem solved. And sometimes our emotions can be like that. Now, we might have a name for an emotion. We might know exactly what the emotion is. It might be despair, it might be anger, it might be joy. Um, Perhaps it's hope. Perhaps, perhaps something entirely different. We might know exactly what that emotion is. And sometimes, despite knowing exactly what the emotion is, we might be a little bit confused on exactly how that emotion came about, what it's doing there. We might be angry or frustrated and not know exactly why we're angry or frustrated. We might even know who we're angry or frustrated with without being fully certain why. And so it might be important to think about, why am I upset with this person? Or why am I upset in general? Because our emotions have messages for us. And when we understand the message, well, they no longer need to continue to bombard us with that message. We can learn from whatever it is the message was. And once we've learned, we can take corrective action. Now, maybe that's making sure that we don't find ourselves in the same situation with the person that makes us angry. Maybe we find a way to interact differently or interact less. But when we take action, whether external action or internal understanding action, well, then we no longer need the message. And when we no longer need the message, it doesn't need to disturb us any at all. If it's safe and appropriate for you to do so. No driving, nothing dangerous. I'd like to invite you to take a deep breath and close your eyes. Letting tension evaporate out of your body. And there's no need to sit or lay down in any particular position. And you can find a position that's comfortable for you, and you can know that the surface beneath you supports you and keeps you safe. The sounds around you help you to focus on this experience. And my voice will go with you wherever you go. Every breath you take helps you to focus on this experience. Helps the tension to evaporate away, leaving behind relaxation. And as you relax more and more, you might discover comfort. Comfort and relaxation and comfort. And you might even realize elements of peace. Perhaps that'll be peace in your body. Perhaps it'll be peace in your mind. And perhaps it'll be only just barely noticeable. Or perhaps the peace will be the most noticeable thing in your entire experience. As you relax and find comfort, and you can breathe. Every breath helps you to focus on this experience. And you can imagine hearing a story about one of the great characters of science, the early masters, starting from so little information, trying to discern how the world works. What is light? What happens if we push the light of the sun through a lens? It can either become more focused, brighter, or somehow less bright. What if we put the lenses in this way or that way? What about a polished mirror, a piece of glass, a piece of silver? What happens if we use a prism? A triangular solid of glass. Isn't this interesting? Within what seemed like simple sunlight, there is a rainbow. Each and every color seems to be represented. And this can be so fascinating. that the early scientist might gather their fellow philosophers of the natural world to show the experiment. They might repeat the experiment larger, bigger lenses, a nicer prism. Perhaps, rather than shining the rainbow onto the dirty walls of a laboratory of ancient days, getting a clean white sheet or piece of canvas and noticing that despite the beautiful rainbow, there are gaps in the light. Most of the light, of course, is a continuous form. But what could it mean that there are gaps in the light from the sun? Is it something to do with the nature of light itself? Maybe these are merely where the actual breaks in color are. They might be different than the names people give to colors. Perhaps it's something to do with the glass between the sun and the lens and the prism and that piece of canvas. Perhaps something is stealing part of the light. Maybe, just maybe, it might even be part of the Earth's atmosphere, interrupting these very specific colors on their path to the lens. Perhaps and perhaps it's something intrinsic about the sunlight. Maybe, just maybe, this is the sun's special fingerprint. The way it marks its light as its own light. Well, if that's so, how might the sun do this? Well, that's a good question. An interesting question. A question that might take a lot of thought. Might the sun know to not produce certain colors of light, whilst yet producing almost every color that can be seen. An interesting curiosity. And our early scientists might gather their friends and talk about what has left this fingerprint. Is it the glass? Can we get other glass? Is there something else that could serve the purpose of the glass, of the lens, and the prism that turn the sunlight to a rainbow? Is there some way to try the same experiment without the air that we all must breathe? To see if that's the source of the missing light. And if it's something to do with the sun's own fingerprint, how could we tell the difference? And that scientist might write a letter, a piece of correspondence to other influential people in other parts of the world, curious hearts who might be willing to spend some time pondering the same question, to repeat the same experiment, looking for an answer. And sometimes answers come quickly, yet other times it can take a long time to get to an answer. Perhaps this is an answer for this week. Perhaps they will continue to be curious for many weeks to come. And as we drift away from our scientist, back in early history, a time far before the things we know these days, we can know that their efforts, combined with the efforts of their friends, many intelligent and creative people, laid out a path of study, a path of investigation, trying one thing and then another thing, and learning, always learning. Oh, isn't it interesting that, wow, the glass of the lens might be quite clear to typical light. There are other kinds of light, almost seem to not deserve the name because they shed no light to the human eye. They cause no sensation of brightness. And yet, beyond the red part of the rainbow, the canvas gets quite warm. Clearly heated by something. And things beyond the violet edge, if given enough time, become damaged and fade. How can this be? What? What can actually be happening? That there is light that isn't light at all. And how can it have such different properties? In learning, it's possible to make lenses and coatings and glass and prisms. And some of them block certain types of light. And some of them cause certain distortions. And later, learning the air we breathe, while it seems quite clear, does a number of interesting things to light. Why does the sky appear blue? Why are mountains that are far away blue? It seems that there are certain types of light that are added in the atmosphere, and some that are subtracted away. by the air itself. And of course, it would take some while, a massive effort, to really be sure, once and for all, what contribution to the fingerprint of light was all the sun's doing. The part that has nothing to do with the glass, the lenses, the part that has nothing to do with the atmosphere, the breathing gas of life on this planet, the part that's just to do with the sun, and the fingerprint the sun leaves on its own light, so that anywhere in the universe, anyone could tell important things about the sun, what it's made of, its temperature, and its size. Important fingerprint information. Now, there's so many characters in history. In deep time, characters from thousands of years past. There are characters more recent, in the last few hundred years. And there are characters even today. Now, each of these characters, whether natural philosopher, thinker, tinkerer, orator, scientist, worker, each leaves their mark, their special light on the world around them. You might see it shined onto the pages of a book. You might see it shined into the relations around them. You might see it shine into the work that they do. It might even be left as a mark on their children or other young people. And each person leaves a mark. And sometimes it can be difficult to tell exactly what that mark is without careful study. But there is no life, just like there is no star that doesn't leave its fingerprint for all the universe to see, even if the universe may not know what to make of it at first. Now, as you ponder things, your mind might drift and dream, making special meanings just for you, just for your life. Special understandings that maybe you can share, and maybe are just for you. And you can take time to be with those understandings, with those thoughts, dreams. Now, you can wonder and dream now, or you can wonder and dream in your dream time whilst you sleep. Tonight, the coming day, perhaps later this week, you can dream of light and stars, scientists, philosophers, fingerprints, or something quite entirely other, some message your unconscious mind wishes for you to know, to understand fully. But in a moment, I'm going to invite you back to the waking world, to the world of conscious and deliberative thought, to a little more uptime world. And I'll count you back, counting from 1 to 5. And when we reach 5, you'll be wide awake and alert, ready for whatever you have next in your day, feeling fantastic. 1, becoming aware of the surface beneath you, whatever supported you there. 2, moving your fingers and toes. And 3, giving yourself a big stretch. Becoming aware of your physical location. What room are you in? Where you're at. 4, like your eyes have been washed in fresh spring water. Your mind is clear and focused. Your sinuses are clear. Your voice is clear. Your lungs are clear. Your throat is clear. Ready for whatever life brings your way. Taking a deep breath of energy-giving oxygen for your lungs, for your blood, for all the tissues of your body. And 5, wide awake, feeling good, feeling fantastic, feeling like you've done really something quite nice for yourself by listening to the messages of your body, the messages of your mind, your emotions, feeling those feelings and being curious what those mean for you, what message, what good thing your unconscious mind has to teach you, to communicate to you. And you can go through your day feeling curious and feeling energized, feeling healthy, and maybe even you might discover a few bits of joy here and there. There might be a cause. There might be no reason at all. Any which way, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for spending time with me. Take care.